This is my dad's father's gun. I hope it's not loaded.
So where's your gun, Danielle? Who y'all gonna shoot now? Freak, freak.
I had a 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun. I had a 9mm.
They were going up to kids, bang, bang, you're dead.
Nobody deserves to die. I got 15 to 30 years to think about that.
If I don't feel safe going to high school, then where will I feel safe?
People are coming into our schools and shooting kids. What's going to happen to my children?
This is the story of Natasha Cornett, a girl who says she's had more hard breaks than anyone deserves.
It was hell. The typical dysfunctional childhood. You know, getting abused by one parent and abandoned by another one. It's like all my life I was being told that I was bad, that I was a bad kid. And all my life, all I really tried to do was the right thing.
Well, on April 6, 1997, the girl brought up in a trailer in Betsy Lane, Kentucky, ended up on a fateful collision course with a young family in East Tennessee. In Greene County, Tennessee, the streets are dotted with churches, and violent crime is practically non-existent. It was a logical place for Vidar and Delphina Lilylid to raise a family. The devout Jehovah's Witnesses would spend weekends taking 6-year-old Tabitha and 2-year-old Peter to religious conferences. Just over the border in Kentucky, Natasha grew up from the innocent child to something very different. She had some new friends and a religion of her own.
They would get a motel room, hold seances in which they would cut each other, drink each other's blood, and then have sexual orgies along with LSD and other types of drugs. And Natasha was the ringleader. She was the person that controlled really all of these other individuals. I think that she's the embodiment of evil.
The Lilylids were on their way home from a convention when they ran into 18-year-old Natasha and her friends at this highway rest area. The father began preaching religion to the teens, whose intentions were not so righteous.
These individuals had been watching a movie called Natural Born Killers. Now that movie involves a couple going across country to Mexico, robbing and killing along the way, which is exactly what these individuals plan to do.
The teenagers forced the family into their own van, made them drive to a remote area, and committed their grisly crime.
This was a satanic event. They were engaged in some kind of satanic worship when they killed the Lilylid family. Males were shot in the right eye, on the right side of the body, the females on the left side of the body, and both the adults had triangles, or one of them had a pentagram shot.
The father was shot 8 times, the mother 6. Tabitha died the next day. The baby boy barely survived.
I think about the little boy, and I keep on hoping that he's gonna be okay. And then I always hear that something bad has happened, or he's remembering, or he's having nightmares.
Natasha Cornett, now 20, claims she tried to stop the murders, but like each of her friends, she was handed 3 life sentences with no chance for parole, plus 25 years.
I know that I have no right to feel sorry for myself. I know that I shouldn't, because they are the ones that paid. But I'm a kid. And I can't help but feel bad, because I won't have a life.
At some point, should an adult have seen Natasha's warning signs and intervened? Whose responsibility is it to notice when a teenager is headed for trouble?
I think their parents should be responsible. That's number one.
It's definitely the parents, but if they don't do their job, then whoever notices.
It seems like a lot of children who are having a lot of problems don't have very good parental supervision, and that's why they have taken these bad turns.
Some parents do notice when their kids are out of control and potentially dangerous. One Pennsylvania mother is frightened, frustrated, and taking action to help her son.
I don't know if I scare people. I mean, a lot of people know that I spaz. Kill.
Even with both parents living at home, watching over him, Michael Mowery is the kind of boy who seems headed for trouble.
This is a school I used to go to. It's Abington Junior High School.
At age 14, Michael was expelled from the 8th grade for his abusive and violent behavior.
I made a threat to a teacher that if he didn't get out of my face, I was going to kill him.
He's been ordered by the county to continue his education at home with hour-long daily visits from tutors.
There's one of my little contraptions with my fist.
Michael suffers from uncontrollable bouts of rage.
Me and my mom got in this big fight, argument over, I forget what it was, something about a chore or something I didn't want to do. And she slapped me, so I ran up here, got a little angry, and I hit the wall and it broke. Once I get mad, the mind goes blank. I don't feel, don't hear.
Michael,
No.
you're going to start
no.
on camera, aren't you?
I don't care.
The focus of Michael's anger is usually his mother, Kathy.
You tell me you're going to bitch slap me,
Mm-hmm.
and then I slap you for that reason because you said that to me.
Because if I said that when I was little, she said, wait till your dad gets home and I tell him. She's trying to take control.
But then I slapped you.
And then I grabbed
because
her
I'm not
arm and I
gonna
told
take
her I was
that-
going to break it. This is my dad's father's gun.
Apart from his tutoring sessions, Michael spends countless hours unsupervised.
I hope it's not loaded.
Yeah, me too.
This is mine. When I spaz, I don't have access to these guns because I don't know where the bullets are. I'm not sure.
Michael, you need to do all the wash, clean your room, do the dishes.
To try and get Michael under control, Kathy has asked the county to place him in a program called Home Quest. Michael must check in with a supervisor everywhere he goes and is subject to surprise visits from a Home Quest family counselor.
Then I have to rush back here at 1.
You know your job.
No, because I
Your mother's at work all day, your father's at work all day. It's your responsibility to be home and do the chore.
I told you, we need to sit down and have a contract because it's just battles. They all thought of him when that shooting happened.
They called my house when that happened. They called me. Like I flew to Colorado, shot somebody up, and came back. Like I did something.
No, they thought you have the mentality of doing something like that.
My life's already all screwed up and I'm 14.
Why is it all screwed
Because
up?
it is, because I'm on this Home Quest program that screws up my whole life.
You're a pro athlete. You had everything going for you and you don't want to do any of that anymore.
I'm too tired for that. I ain't got time for it. I got other things to do.
Like?
Like go out.
And do what out?
Anything. Go to the mall, hang with my friends. Anything.
Yo, man, hit me. No, hit me. I'm not gonna start with you. Hit me, mother. You know, I'm on probation too.
Despite the fact that Kathy is doing her best to help her son, she's also had enough. She's leaving Michael's father and Michael.
I'm moving out due to marital problems. We're not well as a family.
Well, it don't matter. She ain't coming home.
Where do I see him 5 years? Hopefully in college with a nice girlfriend and playing football.
I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. Because if they turn out like me, I'm going to beat them.
For kids like Michael, already at war with the system, does the idea of life behind bars act as a deterrent? When we come back, kids who kill and pay the price. David Snyder, 17 years old. 2 counts of third-degree murder for barging into a rural Pennsylvania home and slashing 2 people's throats. Jason Harpster, 18, killed his best friend with a hunting rifle. Corey Rathbun, 17, murdered 2 teenagers on a basketball court. The Houtsdale Correctional Facility outside Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, is home to 180 violent felons between the ages of 15 and 18. Kids like Jason, kids who kill for no apparent reason.
I grew up on a farm. You know, I'd never been in trouble with the law before. I shot my friend. I was just doing drugs. Had a bad day, I guess. Shot him.
Houtsdale agreed to bring together these members of its juvenile population for frank conversations about teenagers, violence, and how kids from middle-class, small-town Pennsylvania end up behind bars.
You keep getting told, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And you're going to think, dang, that must be fun. People don't want me to do it, it's going to be fun. You go do it, you end up here. I had a beautiful house. TV, VCR in my own room, Sega Genesis, Nintendos in my room. I had everything really a kid could want. I started getting in trouble in school when I was in 2nd grade. Then they tried to say I got this thing called ADDH, Attention Deficit Disorder of Hyperactivity. It made me take pills, you know what I'm saying? And that made me feel retarded.
It's difficult to reconcile the young faces with the crimes that landed them here. David Snyder was 9 when his mother sent him away to live with his father. With little supervision, he was soon taking hard drugs. By 15, David found himself on trial for a vicious and admittedly senseless crime.
I was on drugs. I really don't recall, but all I know is my co-defendant cut 2 people's throats. But for no apparent reason, I can't think of one really.
David says it was his friend who slashed the throats of the Pennsylvania couple, but both boys were convicted. Now 17, David will be 34 when he's paroled. He will have spent more than half his life in prison. The remorse he does exhibit seems to be not so much for his crime, but for the freedom he lost.
It's not fun to be in prison because you lose your family, you lose having sex or whatever you want to call it, making love or whatever. You don't get to do nothing really. You can't even really go out and get a cheeseburger from McDonald's or Burger King or anything.
I'll tell people that, you know what I'm saying, you gotta think about the consequences before you do it, you know what I'm saying? You might think, well, oh, I'm not gonna do it. But at the spur of the moment, you don't never know what you're gonna do. Think about something before you do it, you know what I'm saying? This is from 9/7, my sister, to the most important person in my life. So how are things out your way? Did you get the card? I've been locked up ever since I was 14 and always thinking about what could I be doing outside. I'm saying I'd be in school right now. I'm 17 years old. I'd be in school right now. That's my mom right there.
Corey Rathbun is doing 15 to 30 years for a double murder. Unlike his fellow inmates, Corey says he did have a motive, self-defense, against 2 teenagers from his neighborhood who allegedly threatened to hang him from a tree because he was black. It was only after the fact that Corey questioned his deadly decision.
What would have happened if I would have stayed at home? What would have happened if I just came like 5 minutes earlier? You know what I'm saying? You never know, you know what I'm saying? And that's what haunts you.
Some kids grow up in stable homes and still end up in jail. How can parents think they're doing a good job raising their kids and turn out to be so disastrously wrong?
I know kids who will go home, their parents are very well off, and they'll go home and hi mom, hi dad, and go out 2 minutes later and go and do hard drugs and get stoned and get into a lot of trouble.
But imagine doing everything right, raising your children in one of the most conservative cities in the country, and still having them stray. Salt Lake City, Utah is known for its strict adherence to the values of the Mormon Church. One local woman, Nancy Rector, wants to keep it that way. Nancy and her husband Roy pride themselves on raising their 4 children in a devout Mormon household.
My kids grew up in an extremely stable home environment. 2 parents, very strong values, which we tried to instill in them.
But when her oldest daughter Jenifer entered junior high, Nancy began to notice abrupt changes in her behavior and dress as the girl was drawn into the Gothic subculture.
The first thing we noticed was the dressing all in black, Makeup was a big part of it, heavy eyeliner, white face. The next thing we noticed was the body mutilation, really, really severe body mutilation. She would take razor blades and just carve her arms and legs up.
Over the next 5 years, Jenifer was in and out of state custody for various misdemeanors. Now 18, she is locked down in a state-run drug treatment center.
Hi, Nancy, Rector, they're expecting us. I'm here for my daughter Jenifer.
Jenifer speaks candidly about her fascination with violence, death, and the occult.
We would kill cats, birds, things like that, bury them, dig them back up, watch them decompose. We're very obsessed and infatuated with the idea of death.
Jenifer's bizarre obsession took a violent turn when she aligned herself with a new group, racist skinheads.
I had black and army-colored clothes with swastikas and a racist state of mind. I had a 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun. I had a 9mm semi-automatic. I had a 9mm revolver. I've done things like shot at people who were black, not with the intention of killing, more with the intention of fun. It was kind of like a game. It's not like human life is on the line. It's like you have targets and they move.
When my daughter called the last time and she was put in jail, she wanted bail money to get out. And I said, Jenifer, I told you when you turned 18 that I was done. I said, I love you, I will support you, I will help you any way I can. But I'm not going to rescue you anymore, and I'm not going to, go on this crusade to fight to get you help.
But Nancy has taken on a crusade to put an end to the Gothic subculture she believes corrupted her daughter. Gothic kids dress in black, listen to depressing music, and take an interest in all things dark and gloomy. Nancy has been tracking harmful incidents involving Gothic kids for the last 3 years and has campaigned to remove material she deems inappropriate from the Salt Lake City Public Library.
You take a child that's troubled and then he starts listening to music that glorifies suicide and body mutilation and stuff like that, it's going to have an effect.
That is a hand.
But Gothics in Salt Lake City reject the notion that their offbeat appearance and morbid interests make them violent. Chauncey, Sean, and Jen say they aren't dangerous, they're just misunderstood.
I'm a good kid. I don't do anything that's against the law or anything like that.
Yeah, I listen to Marilyn Manson, I watch violent movies, but I've never shot anybody. I would never shoot anybody. When's the last time you saw a Gothic do a drive-by shooting?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the thing, is that because of 2 individual people in Columbine, it makes it sound like the whole group of Gothics they're all these Nazi fascists who worship the devil and are gonna go kill everybody they can just because they're Gothic.
I think that the media especially and society should maybe take a closer look at home life.
I think my parents, I want to defend them, they tried their best, but they never knew that I was picked on school, they never knew that I had no friends, they never knew none of that stuff. I felt like they should have already known that I was having all these problems, and they didn't.
When kids turn angry and violent, many think images like these fuel those urges. But is the media really to blame? In Minot, North Dakota, that question is on everyone's mind. According to his friends, Richard Kuntz was one of the best skaters around.
He was kind of like the innovator out of us 3. He's the one that started us all skating.
He was a star hockey player. He was popular, good-looking, and came from a loving family.
He would make you laugh when you were down. Oh, funny as heck.
Richard Kuntz seemed to have it all. And yet, underneath it all, Richard was deeply depressed over a recent breakup. His ex-girlfriend, Kara, says Richard was crying out for help.
I heard from some people, I don't know, I forgot, but from more than one, that he went to his parents and asked for help. And, I'm seriously, I need help. And they were just like, oh, it's just teenage stuff, breakups, it's just teenage stuff. Drinking, smoking pot, it's just all teenage stuff. Well, guess this wasn't.
Richard's father, Ray, thought he knew his son well, but even he didn't realize the severity of Richard's problems.
He complained about this or that or the other thing at school or with athletics or with a girlfriend or nothing, but not a specific request for help or a concern.
In December of 1996, 6 weeks after the breakup, Ray was out of town on business. He always checked in from the road.
In the morning, I called home about 10 after 7, about 5 after 7 in the morning. And a strange man answers the phone. And I know my home phone number. And the guy said the Kuntz residence, and I said, yeah, I said, who is this? I said, is Chris there? He said, no, she can't come to the phone. And I said, well, this is Mr. Kuntz. I want to talk to my wife or my son immediately. And I mean right now. And so he called my wife to the phone. And she told me that our only son had killed himself.
Richard had shot himself in the head with his father's handgun. Friends and family struggled to answer the question why. And then Ray found what he considered to be the answer inside his son's CD player.
When I opened it up, a Marilyn Manson CD was on it. The Antichrist Superstar CD was on it.
Ray blames the lyrics.
The chorus goes something like this. One shot and the world gets smaller. Shoot, 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 motherfucker. One shot and the world gets smaller.
See, that's where you could probably mistake it as him saying, kill yourself, one shot and the world gets smaller. Shoot, 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 motherfucker is what he says, but I personally don't feel the song's about suicide.
This kind of stuff my son was listening to when he killed himself?
Richard's friends think the music should not be held accountable.
Music doesn't kill people. Because we've all listened to this, we all listen to the same music.
You're not just going to go and kill everybody or commit suicide just from listening to some music or watching a show. You shouldn't. If you're smart enough, there's got to be something else.
Searching for a reason, desperate to know why. Richard's family points to pop culture, Marilyn Manson, dark lyrics. But what his father doesn't know is that in town, 3 of Richard's closest friends still talk about suicide as if it's a real option, just one they've rejected for now.
I've had so many points where I've just been like, I can't take it anymore. Can't take anything. Hearing your watch tick pisses you off.
I've planned it and stuff, but I don't know if I'd ever do it. I threaten it and I think about it a lot.
I mean, I have cut myself before, yes. I have cut my wrist, yeah. I mean, it's something I'm not proud of, but I did it at one point in my life when I was really fed up with everything and just didn't want to even deal with it at all.
I could get to this point and I wouldn't be able to do it. Because I'd think about friends and family and all the people that I'd be leaving behind and everybody that loves me. And I'd just be like, you know, it's not worth it.
Can images from music, movies, and video games really push kids to commit violent acts?
It's a really complicated issue, and you can't just say, oh, it's because of the music they listen to, or it's a TV they watch, or the way they were brought up. It's a combination of things. You can't really just say it was one specific thing.
There's no question that images we see get picked up by our psyches.
Days after the massacre in Littleton, Colorado, reports of bomb threats and hit lists plagued our nation's schools. In the Florida Keys, administrators at Coral Shores High School feared they might be next, that they might have another trenchcoat mafia on their hands. They dressed in black. They kept to themselves. They spent most of their time with images like these. Their slogan was preparing for the ultra-violence, but perhaps what scared the school most was the group's name, Evil Con.
You look like the trenchcoat mafia.
Some kids went and told the principal that, oh, we were going to go kill them. Or 2 of our members had a big plan to wipe out the entire black race.
Evil Con is a loose-knit group of 15 high school students, like Steve, who get together to play violent video games.
These parties go on all night long, most people don't even sleep at them.
At a gaming party at a warehouse outside Miami, EvilCon members joined other gamers for 3 days of blood and gore. Video games like Quake and Doom, the very same games under attack for inciting violence in Littleton.
I'm not those kids in Colorado, but they think that I am.
In our school, there's not much that goes on, and as weird as it gets is us, which isn't really that weird. So it's just a matter of time before they came and said, hey, you're at the extreme, what do you guys do?
Jack was the first EvilCon member brought up for questioning about the group's activities.
I was called up to our vice principal's office. I think a freshman told her parents that there was a group of kids that wore black t-shirts that said EvilCon on them. If Columbine didn't happen, we would have never been questioned at all. We would have been the same old EvilCon.
A lot of people view the computer games as violent and threatening. We don't view them as that at all, because we can take our aggression out on the fictional characters in the game.
The only casualties this weekend took place on the computer screen. Other than that, maybe a little too much caffeine was consumed. Maybe the sleeping conditions were less than ideal. But after close to 40 hours of this stuff, it was time to head back to the Coral Shores High School, back to the real world, and the suspicious stares of their schoolmates. They know their appearance may be cause for concern, but they also know that's as far as it goes.
To the furthest of my knowledge, I don't think anyone in our group has ever actually even gotten close to being in a fight before. Really non-violent people.
Later, talk.
The fact is, it's not entertaining to kill someone, but it's entertaining to play a game the way we play it, because what we do in the game is we kill each other. But we're not killing our own friends, we're killing the people in the game. I mean, I'm not going to walk around with my big ice gun and freeze someone in real life now, am I?
The names of the towns have become infamous and are now forever linked together. Jonesboro, Paducah, Springfield, Littleton. We've seen how teen violence can happen in any seemingly innocent town. So we went to one, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. In the heart of suburbia, this is a town eerily similar in makeup to Littleton, Colorado. In every town across America, the lingering question is, are we next? Could it happen here? Cherry Hill East, a school still feeling the repercussions of the Columbine tragedy.
I'd see people in black and chains, and there would be a second thought in my head, like, oh my God, are they capable of doing something like that?
In the past year, 3 bomb scares have rocked the high school.
And the fire bell goes off and they said, this is not a drill.
We love the bomb scares because we get to sit outside and miss like 10,000 classes.
We saw cops on the roof.
A hit list with names of 70 students targeted to be killed was discovered.
People were scared, parents were scared, teachers were scared.
And they even had what they thought was their own trenchcoat mafia.
They were going up to kids going, bang, bang, you're dead.
If I don't feel safe going to high school, then where will I feel safe?
Within the walls of this suburban high school, students equipped with small cameras let us into their world.
I think I'd probably get shot first because everyone hates me.
They come up to me first. I don't know why, because I think because I'm loud.
I think I would be right up there. They'd be looking for Kwame and me.
I feel safe everywhere. My attitude is when I start living in fear, then I may as well just forget it.
A couple days after the whole Littleton thing, 2 kids walk in trench coats, and I looked at my friends and we're like, okay, let's leave,
These 2 morons in Columbine, they said, oh, look how cool we can be. We can go shoot people, wow. And then I get blamed for it.
They said that Cherry Hill East is the same as Littleton. Yep. Every school is the same as Littleton.
17-year-old Craig Pfeiffer is exactly the kind of kid people are worried about. He's obsessed with slasher movies, dresses all in black, and listens to Marilyn Manson.
People think I'm a violent person, but that's because people are pretty dumb.
While only a junior, Craig has decided not to return to Cherry Hill East next year, a decision he attributes to the constant harassment he experiences on school grounds.
In school, I guess I'm pretty much considered a freak.
Hey, look, he's weird. Yeah, he's evil. Look, freak. You're so gay. I didn't do it, Paul. I didn't do it. Faggot. Hey, look how gay I am.
People do discriminate against me for the way I dress. The thing that bothers me is when authority figures do it. because they can actually do something.
Just days after the Columbine incident, Craig was one of 3 students who were suspended for allegedly wearing black trench coats and pretending to shoot at students.
This is my black trench coat.
Oh my God, he's gonna kill somebody now!
Does it look just like a black trench coat? Somebody said that me and a few of my friends were pretending to shoot people and throw grenades at them, which is untrue, but they took their word over ours, and that pretty much sucked, and I think the school board's a bunch of pricks for doing that. It doesn't matter if I keep dressing this way and I keep speaking what I actually think, then I'm always going to get crap for it, or anybody who does, and that's just the way it's always going to be.
It's not right to judge, but that's just the way it is. Like, humans are going to judge.
You're naturally going to fear someone who's different than you. I mean, that's just a human reaction.
Like, I understand, like, here are we to say what is normal, what isn't, but, like, it's not.
I think it's healthy to not accept your society, you know, and to challenge it.
How much do we challenge the authority? When do we draw the line? I don't perceive myself as a snob, but maybe I am, maybe I'm not.
Brett Berman, star athlete, vice president of the student body. This graduating senior is among the most popular kids in his class, and for that same reason is also one of the most resented. Last year, a Cherry Hill student put out a hit list, names of 70 students, teachers, and parents, entitled People to Kill. Brett's name was among the top 5.
I know the reasons why it's me. You know, I'm a leader of the school, get good grades, have friends. It's all jealousy, I'm sure that's what it is. I mean, I know I never made fun of them.
It shouldn't be that I'd look around the halls trying to think if that could be this person. Is it the kid with the trench coat? Is it the jock that's going to do it? It could be anyone, and you know that's what the scariest part is. You know, Columbine hit home with us. I never did anything wrong to these kids. Me personally, I never did anything wrong because I'm part of a group that is stereotyped by these kids.
Am I perceived as part of a group?
The smart kids.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
I'm the Craig group.
The kid that no one wants to talk to group. I guess the freakish group, if you will.
High school can be a traumatic time. Constantly taunted, 15-year-old Danielle Lambersky often dreads going to school and takes all the insults to heart.
It's gotten so much worse after Littleton. I got a lot of comments. So where's your gun, Danielle? Who you all gonna shoot now? Freak, freak. I've always been different since I was little. I've always been the outcast. I wear 27 rings. I used to wear 29, but I lost a couple because they slide off my fingers. I have knuckle rings. Check it out. I don't really get along well with my family. I'm kind of different. I'm kind of like the black sheep, if you will.
Danielle's family disapproves of most everything she does, leaving her no choice but to hide the truth from them right before their eyes.
What? No! I was going through my bag. It was an eyeliner. Hello? My mom's following me outside the door, which she never does. Now she's probably going to come over here and yell at me. She doesn't know I smoke, but that's okay. I'm looking for my lipstick, oh annoying one!
For Danielle, it's often a struggle to simply make it through a day.
There's so much stuff going on every day. I don't know why everybody hates me.
And when the pressure becomes too great for her to handle, there is often no one for her to turn to.
Nobody cares about me. Like, all I have to talk to is the camera. I have no one to talk to. I have family and friends, but I can't turn to them. So I really have to, like, depend on myself and, like, keep myself sane.
My parents are, I don't know, they're weird. Like, they'll be cool, like, one day and turn around the next day. They can't relate because they didn't have the same problems as I did.
Hi, we're at Boston Market, and I'm on work right now. Probably got an hour left, and I'm gonna be done. I'm gonna go home.
Kwame Biney is a 17-year-old basketball star at Cherry Hill High School East.
I'm nice and I'm friendly.
School, practice, and a grueling part-time job. Though his parents support him, Kwame is intent on proving self-reliance. But he's mad that his hard work sometimes goes unrecognized.
I think definitely the most thing that pisses me off is adults and the perception of kids. Supposedly Generation X, we're all bad. Parents don't understand. They'll be like, what do you guys have to worry about? You know, you live in my house, we pay for your food. You guys shouldn't worry about anything.
Kwame is willing to work hard toward his future and is debating whether to shoot for a basketball scholarship to pay his own way through college. And what he wants is for all parents to know that he's one of the good kids.
I don't really have a specific thing that I want to be when I grow up. I just want to be larger than life.
I think as much as I think I could do well without my parents, interfering. I think I need that.
I have such a close relationship with my parents because I think they respect me, and I respect what they think. It was pretty bad here. I mean, we had several bomb threats. I was scared, but I had to come to school because, how's it going to look if the principal's daughter's not here? At
17, Kristy Gallagher has had a long career of living up to the high expectations that come with being the principal's daughter.
Ready, guys? I've had to work a lot harder than other people. I have had nothing handed to me. If you respect the person you're dealing with, they're going to return their respect.
More and more now, teenagers have to decide their life at an earlier and earlier age.
And I think if you anything learned from Littleton, is teenagers demanding respect and demanding attention for their problems.
Wynn Williamson, graduating senior, honors student, student body representative.
I mean, high school's a very confusing and stressful time.
There's always going to be pressures to fit in. I mean, this is adolescence. It goes beyond just trying to fit in and figure out who you are. It's trying to figure out who you're going to be for the rest of your life.
At 17, Wynn has spent his high school years doing everything the right way.
My biggest problem, my biggest stressor throughout high school was getting into an Ivy League college.
But he's finding that playing by the rules doesn't always work out.
I was rejected. I received all these letters on one day, Good Friday, actually, from Harvard, Princeton, Amherst, and Columbia, all at once.
With those kinds of stresses, even the top students have their breaking points.
There's a hole in the wall. I had a term paper I was working on, and it just was not coming to me.
I have a temper. I'll scream and yell and huff and puff around and play my music really loudly or punch the wall and kick a door, but I've never hurt a person. I could never do that.
If there's any one problem with this country, it's how we treat each other. It just seems so cold and callous. I don't know where there is to turn to.
Well, if everybody would watch out for each other, then I don't think we'd have to worry about it.
I think it's just the world today, so easy to get a gun and kill somebody.
I'm not scared to come to school, but do I feel safe in school? No, I don't feel safe at all.
People are coming into our schools and shooting kids. What's going to happen to my children? When is it going to stop? When is it going to be enough? And when is it going to change?
In the heart of the Bible Belt, Paducah, Kentucky is not a city you'd call action-packed, and that's just the way the residents liked it. But on December 1st, 1997, Paducah was rudely awakened from its sleepy state when a 14-year-old student opened fire on a prayer group and turned the hallways of Heath High School into a war zone.
We heard one shot, and then there was a pause, and we heard 3 or 4 more shots. Look that on the stretcher and see your little girl laying there dead.
The shooting spree began as a student prayer meeting was wrapping up.
I don't know what number bullet I was hit with. I think I might have gotten hit in spray bullets, I'm not sure. My twin sister crawled over to me and laid on top of me until all the rest of the bullets had went off, and she asked me if I was okay, and then I told her that I couldn't feel my stomach, and I asked her, what was going on, and she said, there's a gun. Michael Carnell, he's got a gun.
At this point, there is still no clear reason why Carnell walked into the school and started gunning down his classmates.
Immature, slightly antisocial, 14-year-old Michael Carnell brought some guns into school to show off and ended up killing 3 and injuring 5, and nobody saw it coming. The people whose lives were forever transformed by this tragedy are still trying to make sense of what could have pushed such a seemingly normal kid into killing his own friends.
It's really weird, though, because, I knew him for a really long time, and, he knew me. And then I could never believe that he would do that. There it is.
This is not the way Missy Jenkins envisioned her senior prom.
We're supposed to be slow dancing.
But as she picks up the pieces of her life, remarkably, it is without anger toward Michael Carnell.
He was a really funny guy. I really liked being around him. I thought he was a really nice guy. He could take things too far sometimes, and you'd be like, Michael, stop, but I never realized that he would be somebody to do anything like that.
Paralyzed by Michael Carnell's bullet, this 18-year-old is the embodiment of courage, strength, and unflagging optimism. Missy Jenkins is a survivor and determined to get back on her feet.
I do get down sometimes. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm completely upbeat all the time, because I'm not. I've had days, you know, where I just sit there and cry and think, you know, whenever am I gonna walk again, and what did I do to, you know, deserve not being able to walk and things like that. But I mean, I just have to go day to day, and I've got to just believe in my heart that I'm gonna walk again, and I just have to keep believing that, because if I don't, then I'm not gonna make it through it at all.
15-year-old Casey Steger was another one of Michael Carneal's victims.
He killed my daughter. That's all I can say, you know.
The feelings are still raw for Casey's mother, Sabrina Steger, who blames society for kids like Michael Carneal.
So we don't know how to be parents. So we sit our kids in front of the TV set, and we buy them a few games, and we drop them off at the mall, or $10 and go watch whatever movie you want to go watch, and you know, we go do what we want to do, and in the meantime, all the different types of media get more and more violent. There are a whole lot less Andy Griffiths on TV, and the only thing that we're feeding our kids is a bunch of garbage, and garbage in, garbage out.
It may be tough to accept, but maybe we, adults, are failing our children and losing control of an entire generation. The point seems abundantly clear, but only if we take the time to listen.
Every parent wants to think their child is innocent and wonderful and beautiful and would never do anything bad to hurt anyone else. But it's for that reason there's no respect for parents anymore, because a student or a child can get away with anything.
I hate lying to my parents. I mean, I wish I could just tell them the truth.
Basically, I'm expected to act like an adult, but I'm treated like a kid.
I mean, yeah, kids are violent, but adults are violent too. What do you think started war?
Adults have taught us to deal with anger by acting out that way. And not only did the people at the Columbine High School did it because they wanted revenge, they wanted something, and they probably wanted to be noticed, probably wanted to be remembered, because they weren't really anybody. And they accomplished that to the highest degree. They made the front page of Time magazine. They were talked about all over the nation nonstop. That teaches kids that's correct, that's how you do it. You want to be noticed, you want to go out in a blaze of glory, this is how you do it.
Sometimes a momentary loss of control can change your life forever. The kids who've gone down that road have something to say to others who still have a chance.
The young people, they think they moral, you know what I'm saying? They ain't never gonna die. They just go out there and do it, and they gonna have to suffer the consequences when they do it, you know what I'm saying? That took they son away from them, you know what I'm saying? And you just gotta sleep with that at night.
Kids, like, they think that prison isn't anything, and that they're invincible, and nothing's gonna happen, and they're not gonna get caught, you know, and that if they did come to prison, then they could deal with it because they're just so tough. But it's not like that. It's not about being tough, you know, not in here. It's about having everything that's ever meant anything to you taken from you. And it's not worth it.